The morning of my wedding, I woke up at 5:30 with butterflies in my stomach. Today was the day. In 11 hours, I would become Elena Webb instead of Elena Romano. I grabbed my phone, 3 messages from my maid of honor, Vanessa, 2 from my future mother-in-law, Carol, 1 from Marcus, sent at midnight. Can't sleep. Can't wait to marry you. I love you so much. But nothing from my parents. No good morning text from my mother, Patricia, who'd been texting me daily for months about wedding details. No call from my father, Robert, who'd cried during our father-daughter dance rehearsal last week. My phone buzzed. Finally. But it was my sister, Natalie. Call me when you wake up. It's important. My fingers felt numb as I dialed. She picked up immediately. Elena. Her voice was tight. I have bad news. Really bad news. My stomach dropped. What happened? Is Dad okay? Did Mom... No, everyone's fine, but Elena, it's Cooper, my dog. He's at the emergency vet. He's really sick. They're saying he might not make it. I exhaled, relief mixing with sympathy. Oh God, Nat, I'm so sorry. What happened? They think he ate something toxic. He started seizing around midnight. The vet bills are already at $8,000. Her voice cracked. But that's not the worst part. What do you mean? Mom and Dad are here with me, at the animal hospital, and they're saying they can't leave. They're saying they need to stay with me. Elena, they're saying they can't come to your wedding. The room tilted. What? I told them they have to go. I screamed at them. But Mom is hysterical, saying she can't leave me alone like this. And Dad's backing her up. They're not coming, Elena. I'm so sorry. My phone buzzed again. Mom calling. She's calling now, I whispered. I'm so sorry. This is so fucked up. I switched over. Elena, honey, I have terrible news. My mother's voice was thick with tears. It's Cooper. He's dying. Natalie needs us. We can't leave her alone at the hospital. You understand, don't you? You've always been so understanding. There it was. That phrase I'd heard my whole life. When I was 12 and wanted to go to art camp, but they couldn't afford it because Natalie needed braces. You understand, don't you? When I was 16 and my birthday party got canceled because Natalie had broken up with her boyfriend. You understand, don't you? When I was 22 and they missed my college graduation to help Natalie move apartments. You understand, don't you? Mom, it's my wedding day. I know, baby. I know. But this is an emergency. Cooper might not survive. And Natalie is having a complete breakdown. She needs us. Marcus's family will be there. You'll have Carol and Stephen. You have so many people. But Natalie only has us right now. What about what I need? But you're stronger. You've always been stronger. You know this. Please don't make this harder than it already is. I hung up. I sat on the hotel bed in my pajamas and cried until Vanessa knocked on the door. What happened? She asked. My parents aren't coming. Natalie's dog is sick. Vanessa stared at me. Her dog. They're choosing a dog over your wedding. Natalie needs them more. Are you fucking kidding me? She's 26. She can handle a sick pet for one day. Vanessa was pacing, furious. This is insane, Elena. You can't just accept this. What choice do I have? I'm not going to beg them to show up. Then we're going to make this the best wedding they'll regret missing. The ceremony was at 4. The botanical garden was perfect winding paths, blooming flowers, dappled sunshine. Marcus and I had walked here on our first date. He'd kissed me on the footbridge over the koi pond, and I'd known even then that I wanted forever with him. I waited in the cottage, listening to the string quartet. Through the window, I could see guests arriving. Marcus's family, our friends, people who had driven hours to be here. But in the third row, on the left side where my family should sit, there were 2 empty chairs, so obviously, painfully empty. You ready? Vanessa appeared, stunning in her burgundy dress. Marcus is at the altar. He looks like he might pass out. I started walking, alone. No father to give me away, no mother fussing with my train. Just me, moving toward Marcus. When I reached him, he took my hands and whispered, "You're so brave, and I love you more than anything." The ceremony blurred. I heard our vows, heard the officiant pronounce us husband and wife. Marcus kissed me, and I tasted salt. I was crying. The reception was in a tent. There was dinner and dancing. Marcus's father, Stephen, welcomed me to their family. His mother, Carol, got so emotional she had to stop her speech 3 times. But my parents didn't call, didn't text, nothing. Around 9, my phone buzzed. Finally. But it wasn't from my parents, it was Natalie. "Cooper made it through surgery. He's going to be okay. I'm so sorry about today." That was it. No message from my parents themselves. Marcus read the text, his jaw tight. They couldn't even send that themselves. We left at 11. In the hotel room, Marcus held me while I cried. "Why wasn't I worth staying for?" I whispered. "You're worth everything. They just can't see it." We honeymooned in Hawaii for 3 days. Marcus had surprised me with the trip. It should have been perfect, but I couldn't stop checking my phone for messages that never came. On our last night, Marcus asked, "Have they contacted you at all?" I shook my head. Natalie texted, said Cooper is recovering, but my parents, nothing. "When we get home, you need to talk to them. Tell them how much they hurt you." I don't know if I can. We flew home on Tuesday. That first week back, I threw myself into work teaching 3rd graders, grading papers, pretending I was fine. Thursday evening, my mother finally called. Her voice was bright, cheerful. "Hi, sweetheart. How was Hawaii?" Like nothing had happened. It was nice. Just nice? Come on, give me details. "Mom, are we really going to pretend everything's normal?" Silence. Then carefully, "I don't know what you mean. You missed my wedding." "Elena, we talked about this. It was an emergency. Natalie needed us." "And I didn't? That's not fair. You had Marcus's family there. Natalie had no one but us. But you're stronger. You've always been stronger. Natalie can't handle stress the way you can. You know this." And there it was. The fundamental truth laid bare. Natalie was the one who needed things. I was the one who understood. "I have to go." I hung up. I stood in my kitchen and realized I was angrier than I'd ever been in my life. Marcus came home and found me sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. My mom called. She doesn't think she did anything wrong. "Maybe we need to create some distance," Marcus said carefully. "They're my parents. They're people who hurt you. You don't have to accept that." The next few months passed in a strange limbo. Brief texts on birthdays, surface-level pleasantries. Natalie called occasionally, trying to mediate, saying they feel terrible and they miss you, but they never said it themselves, never apologized. They acted like I was being unreasonable. Marcus and I settled into married life. We hosted dinners for his family, who welcomed me with warmth that made me ache for what I didn't have. Carol took me shopping. Stephen taught me car maintenance. Marcus's sister Olivia invited me to book club. 6 months after my wedding, in December, I stopped by my parents' house to drop off Christmas gifts. I left them on the porch, planning to leave quickly, but their neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, called out, "Elena, married life treating you well?" Very well, thank you. That's wonderful. Your mother showed me wedding photos. You looked beautiful, dear. I blinked. Photos? But she hadn't been there. She was so excited that day, Mrs. Henderson continued. I saw her and your father loading up their car that morning, all dressed up. Your mother had the most gorgeous navy dress with embroidered flowers, and your father had a garment bag for his tux. My heart stopped. You saw them on my wedding day, in the morning? Oh, yes, around 9 or 10. They had suitcases. Your mother was beaming. She said they were heading to some resort. I assumed she meant your wedding, of course. Of course, I echoed faintly. I made it to my car, hands shaking. They'd been dressed up, had suitcases, a tux. They'd been going somewhere. I called Natalie. Where were our parents the day of my wedding? Silence. Then, what do you mean? They were at the animal hospital with me. Mrs. Henderson saw them leaving the house that morning. Dressed up. Dad had a tux. Suitcases. More silence. Natalie, where were they? They came to the hospital later, in the afternoon. So where were they in the morning? If they weren't with you and they weren't at my wedding, where the fuck were they? Elena, please don't do this. Don't dig into this. What does that mean? If you find out the truth, it's going to hurt worse than not knowing. It can't hurt worse than what I'm already feeling. Yes, it can. Trust me. She hung up. I sat in my car outside my childhood home, feeling like I was looking at a stranger's house. I drove home in a daze. Marcus took one look at my face. What happened? I told him everything. He listened, his expression darkening. They lied to you. They were somewhere else, somewhere they got dressed up for. But where? And why lie? Marcus was quiet, thinking. Your dad's credit cards. You know their passwords, right? My mother used Patricia1965 for everything. My father used Roberto07. I'm not breaking into their accounts. You're not breaking in. You're trying to understand why they abandoned you. Look at the credit card statements from June. That will tell us where they were. That night, I sat at my laptop with trembling hands. I navigated to my father's bank website, typed in his email, paused at the password field. This was the point of no return. I typed Roberto07 and hit enter. The account loaded. I found the credit card statements, selected June, scrolled to the 14th. 4 charges on June 14th. 10:47 a.m. Starbucks, $12.63. Santa Barbara, 12:15 p.m. The Harbor View Restaurant, $287.45. Santa Barbara, 3:30 p.m. Four Seasons Resort Santa Barbara, $3,847. 8:45 p.m. Champagne and chocolates, $156. I stared at the screen, tears blurring my vision. The Four Seasons, an expensive lunch, champagne. While I walked down the aisle alone, I clicked the charge details. Four Seasons Resort Santa Barbara Special Event Package. Special Event Package. I Googled Four Seasons Santa Barbara Events June 14. The first result was a wedding announcement from the Santa Barbara News Press. Wellington Romano nuptials at Four Seasons Resort. Romano, my last name. I clicked. A large photo loaded, bride and groom, both smiling, and behind them in the background were my parents. My mother in that navy dress, my father in his tux, both raising champagne glasses. The caption, Natalie Romano and Brandon Wellington celebrate their marriage at an intimate ceremony at the Four Seasons Resort. The bride is the daughter of Robert and Patricia Romano of Riverside. Natalie, my sister, had gotten married on the same day as me, and my parents had chosen to attend her wedding instead of mine. I read the article 3 times, unable to process it. The intimate ceremony was attended by close family and friends. The groom is the son of venture capitalist Thomas Wellington. The couple will honeymoon in the Maldives before returning to their home in Palo Alto. More photos. Natalie cutting cake. My parents with the happy couple. My mother crying tears of joy. My father beaming. They hadn't been at an animal hospital. Cooper hadn't been dying. It was all a lie to hide that they were choosing Natalie's wedding over mine. But why? I called Natalie. Straight to voicemail. Called again. On the 3rd try, she answered. Elena, it's 1 a.m. You got married on my wedding day. Silence. You got married on the same day as me. At the Four Seasons, Mom and Dad were there. Your wedding, Natalie. How did you? Don't. You lied to me. You all lied. Explain it. Now. She took a shaky breath. I didn't plan for it to be the same day. Brandon and I were planning a fall wedding. But in April, his father got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 6 months to live, maybe less. Brandon wanted his dad at the wedding, so we moved everything up. The Four Seasons only had June 14th available. You knew that was my wedding day. I did, and I told Brandon we couldn't. But Elena, his father, was dying. Every week mattered. The venue had that one date in June. After that, nothing until September. His dad might not make it. So you asked our parents to choose. No, I told them they should go to yours. It was a small ceremony anyway, just 20 people, but they came to yours. Yes, they said. They said your wedding would be beautiful no matter what, that you had Marcus's family. But my wedding was smaller. They felt like I needed them more. And the lie? The story about Cooper? That was Mom's idea. She didn't want you to know. She thought it would hurt less if you believed there was a real emergency. She thought you'd be angrier if you knew the truth. She was right. I'm furious. Elena, I'm so sorry. I never wanted this. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. You let me walk down that aisle alone. You let me think I wasn't important enough for a sick dog. And the whole time, you were at your own wedding, celebrating with our parents. It wasn't what I wanted. I spent the whole day feeling guilty. That makes it so much better. What do you want me to say? That I should have canceled? That I should have told Brandon his dying father couldn't watch him get married? You should have told M.E. You should have been honest. But you didn't. You facilitated this lie. They made their own choice. A choice you enabled by getting married on my day. I didn't have a choice about the date. Brandon's father was dying. You were supposed to tell me. You were supposed to say, Elena, I'm so sorry, but this is the situation. Give me the truth. Instead, you let Mom and Dad feed me that story about Cooper. You're right. I should have been honest, but I was scared. Scared you'd hate me. And I guess I was right. Here we are, 6 months later. 6 months I've spent thinking I wasn't important enough for a dog. I wanted to tell you. Every time you mentioned the wedding, I almost broke. But I'd promised Mom I wouldn't. She said it would only hurt you more. She was wrong. I know that now. I was quiet, trying to organize my fury. Did you even think about me? On your wedding day? Constantly. I checked my phone every 5 minutes. Mom kept telling me to put it away, but I couldn't stop thinking about you. And yet you never called, never texted. What could I have said? She was right. No words would have fixed it. I need to go. Elena, wait. Can we please talk? In person? Don't let this destroy us. You destroyed us when you lied for 6 months. When you stood in front of our parents on my wedding day. You don't get to ask for forgiveness just because you feel guilty. I'm asking for a chance to explain, to really talk. There's nothing left to explain. You made your choice. Mom and Dad made theirs. Now I'm making mine. I'm done. I hung up and turned off my phone. Marcus appeared in the doorway. What did you find out? Natalie got married, same day as me, at the Four Seasons. My parents were there. He stared at me. Are you fucking kidding me? I showed him the article, the photos, the charges. He read everything, his expression darkening. This is unforgivable. You know that, right? Natalie said Brandon's father was dying. They needed to move the wedding up. That's tragic, but it doesn't excuse lying to you. There were 1,000 ways they could have handled this. They chose the one that would hurt you most. He was right. I knew he was right. What if I'm overreacting? Marcus took my face in his hands. Elena, listen. Your parents chose to attend one daughter's wedding over the other. They could have split up, mom at one, dad at the other. They could have been honest. Instead, they lied. They fabricated an emergency. That's not an impossible situation. That's a cruel, selfish choice. Tears streamed down my face. Why wasn't I enough? You are enough. You've always been enough. They're broken, not you. I wanted to believe him, but 30 years of being the understanding daughter had carved deep grooves into my psyche. The next morning, I called my mother. She answered cheerfully. Elena, hi honey. I know about Natalie's wedding. The cheer drained from her voice. Oh, that's it? Just oh? Elena, I can explain. I don't want explanations. I want you to tell me why you thought it was okay to lie for 6 months. Why you chose her wedding over mine. Silence. Then, it wasn't about choosing. Then what was it? Brandon's father was dying. Natalie needed us there. And I didn't need you? You had Marcus's family. You had friends. Natalie had a small ceremony. We felt like she needed us more. But I'm your daughter too. It was my wedding day. I know, and I'm sorry you got hurt. But Elena, you have to understand. Natalie was in crisis. You were fine. You're always fine. I'm not fine. I haven't been fine since you abandoned me. That's not what I did. It is. You're doing it right now. Even now, you're defending your decision. You're making it clear that Natalie's needs matter more than mine. That's not true. I love both my daughters equally. No, you don't. You love Natalie more. You've always loved her more. I've spent my whole life making excuses for it, but I'm done. I'm done pretending. Elena, please, you couldn't be there for one day. One single day. So what does that say about how much being your daughter is actually worth? I hung up. She called back immediately. I blocked her number. My father called next. Elena, your mother is upset. You need to apologize. Apologize? For what? For being hurt you missed my wedding? You went through our private accounts. That's an invasion of privacy. And you attended one daughter's wedding instead of the others. That's a betrayal. Don't be dramatic. We had good reasons. Everyone keeps saying that. But here's what I don't understand. Why didn't you split up? Mom at Natalie's, you at mine? He hesitated. Natalie wanted both of us there, and I wanted both of you at mine. But apparently my wants don't count. That's not fair. Nothing about this is fair. You've chosen Natalie over me my entire life. But this crosses a line. We didn't miss your wedding. We celebrated with you afterward. You sent a text 3 days later. That's not celebrating. What do you want? An apology? Fine, I'm sorry. We made a difficult choice in an impossible situation. No, you didn't. You could have been honest. You could have acknowledged the conflict. Instead, you made the decision for me and expected me to accept it, because you always accept it. You always understand that's who you are. Maybe that's who I was, but not anymore. I'm done being understanding. I deserve better. We do show up for you. When? Name one time you showed up for me when it conflicted with something Natalie needed. Silence. That's what I thought. My whole life, whenever there was a choice between me and Natalie, you chose her. But that ends now. What are you saying? I'm saying I need space. Time away to figure out who I am when I'm not constantly making myself smaller so Natalie can be bigger. You're overreacting. Maybe. But I should have reacted years ago. Maybe if I'd demanded more attention, you would have actually seen me. Elena, don't call me for a while. Don't text. I'll reach out when I'm ready, if I'm ever ready. I hung up and blocked his number. The next few weeks, I received dozens of messages from family. Aunts, uncles, cousins, my grandmother, all saying I was being too harsh, that I needed to forgive. But none of them asked how I was feeling. They just wanted me to make peace so family gatherings wouldn't be awkward. I ignored all of them. Natalie tried calling. I let it go to voicemail. In one message, Elena, please, I know you're angry, but shutting me out isn't going to fix anything. We've been sisters for 28 years. Don't throw that away over one mistake. One mistake. As if this wasn't a pattern that had defined our entire relationship. Christmas came and went. My parents sent a card. I threw it away unopened. They sent a package. I donated it. They sent flowers. Marcus took them to a nursing home. They're trying, he said gently. Maybe you should acknowledge their attempts. Why? So they can feel better? Not for them. For you. Holding on to anger is eating you alive. He wasn't wrong. I was angry all the time. In January, I started therapy. Dr. Chen was a middle-aged woman with kind eyes. In our first session, I told her everything. It sounds like you were the scapegoat in a family with a golden child, she said. That's a recognized pattern of dysfunction, and it causes real harm. Scapegoat seems harsh. Abuse isn't just physical. Emotional neglect is abuse. Consistently prioritizing one child over another is abuse. Just because they didn't hit you doesn't mean they didn't hurt you. It was the first time anyone had validated my feelings without immediately saying, but family is family. Over the next few months, Dr. Chen helped me unpack my childhood. We made lists of times I'd been overlooked, times Natalie was prioritized, times I was told to understand. The lists were pages long. What are you grieving? She asked. My relationship with my parents. Not just that. You're grieving the relationship you thought you had, the one you deserved to have. You're grieving the childhood you should have had, the wedding day you should have had. All of that grief is valid. I cried through most sessions, but it was different from the angry crying at home. This was softer, sadder, like I was finally allowing myself to mourn instead of just raging. In March, 9 months after my wedding, Natalie showed up at my apartment. I opened the door to find her standing there, looking tired. I know you don't want to see me, but we need to talk. I should have said no, but old habits made me step aside. We sat in awkward silence. How have you been? She asked. How do you think? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. You won't answer calls. You've blocked Mom and Dad. You've cut yourself off. I'm worried. Now you're worried? 9 months later? I've been worried the whole time, but you made it clear you didn't want contact. At some point, you have to stop punishing us. Punishing you? Is that what you think this is? What else would you call it? Protection. I'm protecting myself from people who hurt me. So, what do you want? An apology? What would it take for you to forgive us? I don't know if I can forgive you. What you did wasn't just hurtful. It was betrayal. You got married on my wedding day. You participated in lying to me. You let me walk down that aisle alone, and now you're acting like I'm the problem. I'm not saying you're the problem. I'm saying this isn't healthy, cutting off your entire family. Maybe not, but it's better than what I was doing before, which was letting you all walk over me. We never walked over you. Yes, you did. You just didn't notice because I made it easy. I was so desperate to be the good daughter that I never told you when you hurt me. I never pushed back. I just kept bending until I broke. So what happens now? We never speak again? I don't know what happens now, but I know what doesn't happen. I don't go back to being the daughter who accepts crumbs. I don't attend family dinners and pretend everything's fine. I'm done with that version of myself. Natalie stood. Fine. But just so you know, you're not the only one hurting. Mom cries about this constantly. Dad barely speaks. I'm caught in the middle. You're not the only victim here, Elena. No, I'm just the only one whose pain no one cares about. She left. I watched her drive away and felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, just vast emptiness. Marcus came home and found me still sitting there. Natalie was here. What did she want? For me to stop punishing them. To forgive and move on. Are you going to? I don't think I can. Not yet. Maybe not ever. That's okay. You don't owe them forgiveness. Over the next weeks, something shifted. The constant anger was fading, replaced by something quieter. Not forgiveness, but acceptance. Acceptance that my parents wouldn't change. That Natalie would always be the priority. That I couldn't fix any of it. All I could control was how I responded. And I was choosing to protect myself. In April, almost a year after my wedding, Marcus and I found out I was pregnant. We should tell your parents, Marcus said. They deserve to know. Do they? Not for them. For this baby. Your kids should have the chance to know their grandparents. He had a point. I sent a text to my mother. I'm pregnant, due in November. Thought you should know. Her response came instantly. Oh, Elena, that's wonderful. Can we talk? I stared at it before responding. Not yet, but I'll keep you updated. Please let me be part of this. Let me be the grandmother I should have been the mother. I know I've made mistakes, but I want to do better. We'll see. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was a tiny crack in the wall, a small opening that might eventually lead somewhere. Over the next months, I sent occasional updates. A belly photo, ultrasound results, the news that we were having a girl. They responded enthusiastically, begging to be more involved. I kept them at arm's length. Dr. Chen and I talked about boundaries, what level of involvement I was comfortable with, what behaviors I would and wouldn't accept. You get to decide what this relationship looks like, she said. You don't have to go back to how things were. In June, on my wedding anniversary, Marcus and I went back to the botanical garden. We walked the same paths, stood on the same bridge where he'd once kissed me. I'm sorry your wedding wasn't what you dreamed of, he said. Me too, but I got you, and that's worth more than any perfect day. We took new photos, just us, my pregnant belly visible. These were the photos I'd hang on our wall, not the ones from my wedding with its empty chairs. These, full of hard-won peace. That night, my mother called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Hi, Mom. Elena, thank you for answering. I know today must be hard." I was surprised she remembered. It's complicated. I've been thinking about that day every day since, about the choice I made, about how much I hurt you. Okay, I don't expect you to forgive me. I know what I did was unforgivable, but I want you to know I'm sorry, truly sorry. And if I could go back, I would do it differently. I would have been honest. I would have let you be part of the decision. I wouldn't have lied. It was the first real apology. Not, "I'm sorry you're hurt," but, "I'm sorry for what I did." Thank you for saying that. I know it doesn't fix anything, but I want to try to rebuild. I want to be in my granddaughter's life, if you'll let me. I don't know if I can, Mom. Every time I think about letting you back in, I remember standing at that altar alone. I remember 6 months of lies. I remember a lifetime of being told to understand. I understand. And I'm not asking you to get past it. I'm just asking for a chance to show you I can be better. What about Natalie? Are you still prioritizing her? She was quiet. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to see you both clearly. It's harder than it should be, but I'm working on it. Your father and I have been going to therapy. That surprised me. You're in therapy? Yes. It was Natalie's idea. She said we needed help to understand what we've done, because this pattern hasn't been healthy for her either. Being the favorite hasn't made her happy. It's made her anxious and dependent. I hadn't thought about it that way. Is she okay? She's struggling. Her marriage is having issues. Brandon's father died, and the grief has been hard. She's been leaning on me a lot, and I'm trying to be there for her while respecting your boundaries. I'm sorry she's having a hard time. She knows she hurt you. She's trying to do better. We all are. I didn't know what to say. Forgiveness still felt impossible. But maybe, eventually, some kind of relationship might be possible. I need more time. But when the baby comes, you can visit. With rules, with boundaries. If you violate them, you're out. No second chances. I understand. Thank you, Elena. We hung up. I sat there, my hand on my belly, feeling my daughter move. This little girl would never wonder if she was loved enough. She would never be told to understand why she came second. She would be cherished and valued for exactly who she was. And if my parents couldn't accept that, I would cut them off without hesitation. My daughter deserved better. So did I. Marcus sat beside me, taking my hand. You okay? Yeah, I think I am. For the first time in a long time. November came. My daughter, Grace Patricia Webb, was born on a Thursday morning. 7 pounds, 3 ounces, perfect. My parents came to visit when she was 3 days old. Clear rules. 1 hour. No holding the baby unless I handed her to them. No unsolicited advice. They followed every rule. They were gentle and respectful. My mother cried when she held Grace. As they were leaving, my father hugged me. First physical contact in over a year. I'm proud of you. You're going to be a good mother. I just nodded and watched them leave. That night, with Grace asleep and Marcus snoring beside me, I finally cried. Not angry tears, just sad ones. Mourning the relationship I'd never really had and probably never would. But I also felt something else, something like peace. I'd survived the worst thing my family had done. I'd stood up for myself. I'd set boundaries. I'd created a new family where love wasn't conditional. My wedding day hadn't been what I'd dreamed of. My relationship with my parents would never be what I'd hoped for. But I had Marcus. I had Grace. I had a therapist who helped me untangle dysfunction. I had friends who supported me unconditionally. It wasn't the family I'd been born into, but it was the family I'd chosen, and that was enough. 6 months later, on what would have been my second wedding anniversary, Marcus surprised me with a vow renewal. Just us, Grace, and an officiant at the same botanical garden, the same bridge, the same koi pond. This time, I didn't walk alone. Marcus met me halfway, both of us walking toward the center together, both choosing each other again. And this time, when I looked at the audience, just our daughter in her stroller, I didn't feel the absence of my parents like a wound. I felt grateful for what I had instead of grieving what I'd lost. We said new vows, not the idealistic ones from 2 years ago, but ones that reflected what we'd learned through pain and growth. I promise to always see you, Marcus said, to make you feel valued and loved, to never make you wonder if you're enough. I promise to let you see me, I said, to speak up when I'm hurt, to set boundaries, to never shrink myself to make room for others. We kissed as the sun set, painting the sky gold and pink. I took a photo and posted it for the first time in months. No caption, just the image. My mother commented within minutes, "Congratulations on your vow renewal. You both look so happy." I didn't respond, but I didn't delete it either. Progress came in small steps. That night, I pulled out my wedding photos from 2 years ago, the ones I'd shoved in a box, the ones that documented both joy and pain. And for the first time, I could look at them without falling apart. I could see myself in that white dress, walking alone, and feel proud instead of ashamed. I'd done it. I'd gotten married without my parents. I'd survived their betrayal. I'd built something beautiful in spite of them. The empty chairs would always be there. The absence would always be part of my story. But it no longer defined me. It was just one chapter in a larger book I was still writing. And in this chapter, with Grace and Marcus and hard-won peace, I was finally the main character of my own life. Not the understanding one, not the easy one, not the daughter who came second. Just Elena, wife, mother, survivor. Enough.